Hello everybody, and welcome back to the newest episode of Kerbal Space Program .24. So if you missed the last episode, we had a really nice little mini-series to Minmus, where we collected lots of science, 1,700 to be exact, and we are now going to start a new mission, and I think what we're going to do is head out to Duna. It seems like the most logical next step. I mean, after all, we've basically finished exploring the Kerbal system. It's two little moons, two little satellites, and I figure that the only other thing to do, well, there's really two options. One of them would be to build space planes and kind of dick around inside Kerbal's atmosphere, but I think what would be more scientific and more interesting and more fun would be to go to one of the planets. And so the next two options would either be Duna, which is the further one out, or head over to Eve, which is one closer into the sun. But I kind of like Duna better. Call me biased, who knows? But so I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Duna. And so I'm here in the science facility to spend some of the science, the hard-earned science that we got. First things first, I'm going to grab some of this docking equipment, because what I have in mind for this next mission is a little complicated. I want to build a lander that's going to be able to dock and redock with a main command module. But not only that, but the plan is, and what I'm thinking here is, I want this lander to be able to get to both Duna and over to Ike, so that we can get two contracts in one mission, because it's going to be expensive to get out there, and the fewer missions we do it in, the more money we're going to get from it. So we're going to want to be able to dock. And we have some of these adapters here, and this is just all good stuff to have, so we're going to grab that for 160. Another must-have is going to be this atomic rocket motor, because it just makes traveling to other planets just that much easier, because it's so efficient, this rocket. It doesn't have as much thrust as some of the other rockets, but it makes it up in what's called what's it called? ISP. It stands for specific impulse. The higher the specific impulse, the more efficient it is. And if you read on the stats, engine ISP 220 inside the atmosphere, which is nothing, but then in a vacuum 800. So you definitely want that one. Heading even further, we have very heavy rocketry, which is the ones that they added in the asteroid redirect mission, which I don't think those are useful yet. Maybe if we go to Joule or something, we can strap some of these huge boosters on there, but let's see what we get over here. Advanced Metalworks, we're going to get girders, the Clampatron Jr., attachment ports, quad couplers. I don't think we're going to quite need those just yet. Again, I'm not going to go with precision engineering, because these things are so tiny, and I don't want to make anything tiny at the moment, but what I think I will get is these larger solar panels. Those could be quite useful, which opens up a whole nother realm. Let's see. Super large solar arrays, big battery banks, seismic accelerometer. Those could be good to grab, but I think what I want to get first is these, the lander can, this thingy over here, and the big RCS fuel tank. What other options? Other options, we have high altitude flight, again, space plane stuff. Definitely going to want to grab this one. 800 science to go, to spend. Let's see. Yeah, but we got so much science from that past mission. It is great. We might go with this so we can get even more science. The accelerometer would be good to have once we hit Duna. Gonna grab it. These would be nice if we were building rovers. It would be cool to take a rover to Duna, but I don't think we're going to do that in this mission. Oh, we just don't have enough for this one to get the final science module, the Gravioli detector. Just missed that one. Yeah, these ones are a little too expensive. So let's see if there's anything over here that we could spend it on. Might get this one. Yep. It'd be good to have these kind of separators and quad connectors, plus the Clampatron Jr. Definitely going to grab that one. And let's just see what's next in that one. Even more adapters and such. So I think that was a good spending. What I think we'll do now is head over to the contract building and let's see what we can get. I knew it. As soon as we came back from Minmus, there'd be another contract for Minmus. Well, we're not going back there anytime soon. Even though we get 78,000 for that, I'm going to leave it go. And again, a lot of these are just part things. Poor Fredrin Kerman is stuck around Kerbin. We might do another rescue mission at some point. Let's see. Explore Duna and Explore Ike. These never expire, so let's grab that one and the Ike one. And again, these are very similar to the other ones. Let's take a look. Get an orbit around Duna, get some science around Duna, land on Duna, and get some science on Duna. And we get a nice whopping 262,000 plus all these ones up here. It's pretty nice. And Ike, same deal. Achieve orbit, get science, land on it, get science, and we get another 262,000. So this is going to be quite the mission, I think. It's going to be definitely a big one for the books, and it's going to be the next little mini-series of what we're going to do here. And of course, I wish that they would have plant flag on Duna here, because I know we're going to be going there, and I know we're going to be planting the flag there. But, whatever. What can you do? Oh, what's this notification here? Oh, we got that one. Yes. Quite a while ago. Alright, so let's go into the vehicle assembly building here. Check out a rocket. So here's something funny that I didn't even realize. This little button over here for landing. Yeah, I shouldn't have ignored that, because what that does is unlock these larger landing struts and the drogue chutes, which we definitely need, and we just have enough science to get them both. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. I was realizing that the little tiny landing legs we had just weren't cutting it anymore. And I was wondering where these things were, and I went, oh, derp, landing. So there we go. So now let's go to the vehicle assembly building for real. Alright, so here's what we've come up with here. This is going to be the Duna command module, and basically it's one of these nice looking pods, the Cupola module, and we're going to have one guy in there. And I've come down here and I've decided to use the mobile processing lab, which is something that's kind of new to me. I've never actually built one of these things before, and I've only just started kind of looking up the purpose of it, and it seems to me it's useful if you're going on long journeys and you want to clean experiments, like for instance the goo and the materials bay. So what you can do is rack up a bunch of science, connect it to this processing lab, and clean the experiments, store the data, and this way you can have fresh new experiments to go and get more science, which is perfect for what we're doing. I figure we'll send a lander down to Duna, get all the science we can, go back up into space, rendezvous with the command module, dump the science into this lab, clean the experiments, jet ourselves over to Ike, send the lander down once again, this time to Ike, get all the juicy science once again, come back up, dock, and we can either use the lab again or just keep the science that we have. Then once we get back to Kerbin, we can land the lander on Kerbin, and I've also designed this to have these blow-apart disconnectors here, so that we can get all the Kerbals inside the lab, disconnect everything, Separatrons to deorbit, and 8 parachutes. Hopefully should be enough to get this thing landed relatively harmlessly. Hopefully is the key word there. I figure 8 parachutes should definitely be fine. I mean, if not, geez, what do we expect? Okay, so that's that portion of it. Here is the actual thing that's going to push us around once we're in interplanetary space. This is 4 atomic engines connected to these tanks here for extra fuel, and a fuel line going from this big giant tank out to those tanks. So that essentially it's going to pull fuel from here first, dump the fuel into these tanks when we're burning. And then after that we just have a typical launch stage. 2-tank model, main sail engines, boosters, etc., etc. So this is part 1 of the thing. Now let's go over here. Part 2 is the actual Explorer itself, or in other words, the lander. And what I've done here, I'll explain it. We actually have the landing can. We'll put a Kerbal in there. 2 Science Juniors, just for the heck of it. And 6 goo containers. Again, not entirely necessary since we're bringing the processing lab, but I figure in case I decide not to use the processing lab, maybe it's a pain in the ass, I'm not really sure. We have a lot of goo and double the science bays. Also, I've come up here and put on the thermometer, seismic thingy, and the barometer. Solar panels, SAS, batteries, bigger landing struts, extra solar panels in case these blow off, who knows. And of course up here the ability to dock. I have these detachable tanks so that we can like use these to land, and then once maybe we use them all up, they'll drain from here first. We can detach these, this way we save on weight. I have a Poodle engine in here, which according to Flight Engineer on Duna, we will be getting sufficient thrust to weight. I had it before, it's stage 2. Thrust weight is max 4.35 or 3, so that's plenty to escape Duna's atmosphere. Hopefully, the Delta V is 5,000 by that point. Hopefully, it should be plenty. I've been wrong before, though. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so that's the actual lander, the Explorer. This will go down to both Duna and Ike. And as we get back in space between trips, we can always refuel if we need to, which we probably will. And then after that, it's just standard launching craft here. You know, the same exact thingy as the first one. So that is it. That's how we're gonna do this. I've set up some action groups. We definitely want the parachutes. I think I set those as 0. Yes, those are 0, and custom 1 is the panels on here. Now, crew is important. We don't mess this up. I don't want both Kerbals in this one can, so we'll have Jeb pilot this one on itself, and then once we launch the command module, we'll put Bob in the pilot seat and Bill in the actual lab itself, because I think you need 2 Kerbals at all times in the lab in order to use it, so that'll be fine. We'll take all 3 of the heroes. Hopefully we don't lose any of them. That would be quite sad. But yeah, that is about it. So I think it doesn't really matter which one we launch first. I figure we got this one here now. Let's launch this one first. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Okay, here we are on the launch pad, and I figure I'll wait until we get both ships docked and rendezvoused before we set up our phase angles to get to Duna. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go ahead and check out my Kerbal Space Program tutorial videos. They'll show you all about getting to another planet. But anyways, for now, let's get this baby launched in 3, 2, 1. Everything looks stable so far. Pulling fuel from these outer tanks. Dump into the center tank here. Standard procedure. Oh, the only thing I did forget is to put wings on here just for added stability, but it seems pretty stable so far. I might just throttle back to 1/3 power because we're getting pretty fast. Keep this thing at approximately 1 G of acceleration. That's healthy. Take a look inside. This is what Jeb sees right here. Pretty nice view. Pretty nice indeed. Coming up on booster SEP. I'll let those go, and I'll just... we still don't need to throttle up that much. We'll still keep it around 1/3 thrust. Right around 1 G. Again, I'm just going to hit the Q key to get the ship ready for our roll. Or this is the roll, rather, our roll program, as they call it. Lined up right there. We're ready for our grav turn. Oops. Oops, that's right, we push up for that. So I'll boost it up here, get us a little more speed. We'll start turning the ship over here to the 90. SES should hopefully hold us right on that 45-degree line. Apoapsis is a nice healthy 20. We're a good 30 seconds away from the apoapsis, so that's just perfect. Just take a look at the angle. Sometimes it's better to see it visually. Oh, I thought we had a little deceleration, so let's get rid of that. We can boost this thing up a little faster now. So now we have a full tank of gas to get us the rest of the way, which should be fine. Should be just enough fuel to get us into orbit and complete the orbit. It's going to push a little further towards the horizon now. So we are getting some nice height. Now we just want forward speed. So we are launching the landing vehicle. Good stuff. Could have probably been okay to use a gray tank just to help us. I would prefer not to use any of this fuel to help get us the rest of the way into orbit, but what are you going to do? Just push the craft over like this to the horizon. Give us that speed that we desire. 20 seconds of thrust left. There we are. Injection burn will take 400, and we have just about that much, so that is perfect. Whew! I was worried that we'd have to use some of this lander fuel, which wouldn't be the end of the world. We could always refuel it a little bit with the command module, but I don't like wasting fuel that we don't need to use. But one thing I did forget to put on is lights. Again, I always forget lights, but I don't think we're going to be hopping around these Duna or Ike. So we can just choose to land on the light side at all times. That'll be fine. So let's just accelerate. Time, that is. And we'll get ready for our orbital injection burn. We'll burn it around 5-ish seconds. There we go. Full bore, just pushing ourselves the rest of the way. And that should just about do us. Just make sure it gets there. 100 by 102. That's good enough. That's fine. So there we have it. Let's just make sure we push the 1 key and we'll get our solar panels out and about. Oot and a boot. Hopefully they don't collide with this thing. Ooh. Bit of a design flaw right there. Actually, yeah, they're probably fine. Just wondering why that one didn't flip over, but the rest of them did. Oh, there it goes. It just needed a little coercing. But there we go. So I'm just going to keep this fuel in here. The next stage, we'll just get this thing ready, would be to... Actually, let's put this thing in a north or south setting, or heading. It doesn't really matter. Let's just pick north. So it'll be easier for the command module to rendezvous. I like these little rendezvous missions. It just makes it a little more realistic, a little more interesting. And we can pull this ladder up. I'm not sure why it's out, but alright. And we can also just open the shield. There we have it. So this thing is ready now for the other craft, and so we will just hit the F5. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll go to the Space Center, and we'll get ready to launch the command module. Okay. Okay, we'll just open that up, the Duna command module. And again, just gonna mess around with the crew. I'm gonna make sure that we got Bill piloting this thing, and let's get Bob in the processing lab, just so that we have, again, we'll have 2 Kerbals able to process that, even if one Kerbal's down and on a planet doing some stuff. Let's see, just double check. Action 2 is these panels, and Action 0 is these radial mounted parachutes, which there's 8 of them again, and I think that should be good enough, hopefully, to slow this thing down enough. If it's not, they'll be in for a bumpy ride. Should I add one more just for safety? Yeah, let's do it. Well, we could just move these things out of the way, and all click. We'll just get an extra set. I mean, I could be overkill, but I would rather be safe than sorry. This is career mode after all, so we want to make sure that nobody dies. We don't want any of the Kerbals to get killed. People tend not to like that. It's bad for publicity, you know what I mean? I just want to make sure, yeah, you know, we got plenty of power. We got these 4 up here, and these ones over here, so I think that'll be just fine. Just make sure everything's good again. See, you know what's weird is that anytime you change anything, you gotta make sure you do it again. I wish you would save the state. I mean, I didn't even do anything. Very strange, but anyways, let's go ahead and launch this thing now. Okay, only thing we have to do is make sure that these guys are in the proper position. Set them as the target, and we're going to want to wait till they get to right about here-ish. Which means, unfortunately, it's going to be a nighttime launch. Unless we just keep waiting and waiting and waiting. Which we could do. Yeah, let's do that. I hate meeting up in the dark side. It's just, it's no fun. No fun for me, and no fun for you either. Alright. Again, we'll just wait till they're right about here. That should be fine. It's kind of a tricky thing to get it just right, but one of these days maybe I'll learn exactly what it should be. But alright, let's launch it in 3, 2, 1, go! This thing may be a little heavier than the other craft, because we just had to add that mobile thing on there. Plus there's more engines and more fuel, looks like, so it's possible we're going to have to light up these engines to complete the orbit. Who knows? So yeah, I think I'll pause it, and once we get up a little higher, we'll resume. So I'm just kind of realizing that this thing is going to need more fuel. It's not going to have nearly enough to complete the orbit, let alone rendezvous. So what I think I might do is just revert to the assembly building here. Let's add a little more fuel. In fact, what I think I might do is do a quad setup here. Yeah, I'll feel better about that. But instead of connecting in to the center, we will connect these to the side. Just got to make sure to set up our staging properly here, so that those will go first. Again, this is more of an asparagus type setup. There, it'll give us a lot more delta V, a lot more thrust, because this thing is heavy. I'm realizing it's real heavy, and it's just going to work out better if we do it this way. And that's okay. I don't mind going back and adding more things. I'd rather get there than struggle the whole way. And I'm sure you guys agree. It's more fun to watch missions when they are successful, right? Okay. So I believe that should be everything. Boy, it's a lot bigger now, isn't it? A little more expensive too, 179,000 for this thing, but hopefully, you know, when we get all that science and all the completed contracts, we get 2 of them, I think we'll end up on top, at least in science, in the name of science. In the name of science. So let's see, we probably have to set this up again. Yes, we do. Just so that's in the daytime. I think that was a good position where it was before, which was right about there, I believe. Let's make sure to set it as the target. There we go. Oh, you know what I didn't realize? That I... Oh, please. Oh, dang it. Again. Oh, for Christ's sakes. It's doing that crew thing again. We have to go back and get the crew and then do it one more time. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. I will pause it till we're ready again. Alright, so as you can see, we've made some adjustments here. Some minor adjustments. I've gotten rid of the BAC boosters and replaced them with these big giant ones. I also added a gray tank to each of these orange tanks. So that's going to make things a little bit better for us. And hopefully the idea is that we have enough fuel to get all the way up there, rendezvous with the craft, and then have enough fuel left to use some of this to boost us out to Duna. Just because I don't trust that this is enough fuel to get us there and back, and I really hate to strand any of these guys in a place where they don't want to be. Oh, look at this booster's kind of tilting. That kind of worries me a little bit. Oh, because I only put struts on one side. That could explain it. Well, I guess we'll just see what happens here. Should be fine once it disconnects. Man, these things really have a lot of fuel. Wow, that was close. Okay. And then these are out too, so we'll just get rid of all that weight. And we'll just start turning over. In fact, we'll just go right to 2/3 thrust, approximately. Let's see how we're doing here. Pretty good, pretty good. Still slow going though. I mean, I'm just gonna ramp this thing to full because I just don't like the way it's going like that. It's like it's still struggling despite all those upgrades that we've made. The larger boosters, the increased fuel. But that's the problem, you know, you start adding more fuel and after a point it stops helping and actually becomes counterproductive just because it's more weight to push around. And that is the fallacy of chemical rockets, folks. They are not the most efficient idea that we've ever come up with, but for now it's the best we've got. About to separate these things, and there they go. Should be a little slower going now from this point on. But I think that we have enough momentum that we're going to be fine, hopefully. I would hate to go back to the vehicle assembly building and do more adjustments. Already this rocket is pretty expensive. I think it ended up being 200 grand, something like that. Which is a lie. You ask yourself, is it worth it? But again, you know, it's for the science. It's not really for the money. We're doing this for the science, because science is cool. So we're just gonna keep picking up forward speed because we already have plenty of height. And there's our encounter. So we're a little off from each other, but that's okay. We'll put in the maneuver node, and that should solve most of our issues. So we'll just get this so that we can get it on the next pass. Oop, it's getting confusing. Or we can get it on the first pass. Let's just see. So that's already going out past the orbit a little bit. It's not quite sure what it is. It's very confused. I'm kind of confused too. I'm not really sure what it's telling me here. Oh, we are. You know, it's strange. We're kind of in a strange inclination too. That could be part of the problem. No, we meet up here. It's just, it's kind of freaking out. Like, I think this is going to be okay. It's telling me we're either going to be 30 kilometers apart or 3.8 kilometers apart, which is kind of strange. That's a big deviation, but I trust that it'll be okay. I think we can make this burn and it'll be fine. It's a 20-second burn. This episode's a little longer than I wanted, but that's okay. I don't really have like a stringent rule about timing. I try to keep it, 30 minutes maximum. And I'm sure you guys don't mind. I mean, this game is just so fun. I hope I make it entertaining enough for you guys to want to watch all 30 minutes. Sometimes I wonder if people even watch these things to the end. But I appreciate all you fans who really like this, who enjoy this game. I'm just going to change this to orbit because that was confusing me for a second. Finishing the orbit. Should have about 400 delta V left when all is said and done. Okay, we'll just get rid of that. We'll kind of line it up manually. It's getting closer. It's doing that freak out thing again. I think we'll keep it right there. We can always just kind of see how we go once we get to that spot. Yeah, look at that. We are way off the inclination there. I don't know what happened there, but one of these launches was sloppy. It looks like the first one was the sloppy one. Who the heck knows? Anyways, we'll end the episode here. We'll just put our panels out first. You never want to forget to do that. Bill is in there, and Bob's in there. You can't really see him. I think what you have to do is click the door. Yeah, you can make him go on EVA. Alright, but anyway, that's a good spot to end the episode. In the next episode, look forward to us rendezvousing and planning our burn out to the desert world, or the arid world of Duna and Ike. So until then, have a good one, guys. See you there.